Chuth made his first active appearance in an adventure called Ghosts of Dragonspear Castle. It was a less-known softcover book for D&D Next, which served as a preview of the 5th edition. Curiously, this adventure unfolds the character of this adult green dragon in far more detail than The Rise of Tiamat does. It describes his background, a little bit of combat tactics, and his spellcasting abilities. You're watching Loots and Dice, and I'm your bard, Folgard. I want to congratulate the winner of our little Discord event. We had people draw their characters in Microsoft Paint, and honestly, the works turned out pretty impressive. The winner is Proper Pauper, with the illustration of Born Together, a lizardfolk war domain cleric. He keeps the skull of his dead brother, also named Born Together, chained to his shoulder. Now his meme hangs on the wall of the Hall of Fame and will remain there as a legacy in centuries to come. If you want to have fun with us, do so by following the link in the description. Chuth was born in the Misty Forest in 942 DR, the year of the circling vulture, and has spent nearly all his adult life cultivating a taste for elves. He's eaten more than his fair share, moving from forest to forest so he can't be tracked down and killed. In his younger years, Chuth believed he could steal elves' immortality by devouring them. I'm not sure what immortality the authors are talking about here. I've checked and I'm pretty sure elves were never immortal in any edition of D&D, so this detail may be changed to elven innate magic or something like that. Maturity has cured him of that ridiculous notion. Now he's simply drawn to the sport of hunting prominent elves, particularly those of noble and royal descent. He passes the time learning about elf kings, princes, and lords and hatching elaborate schemes to lure his chosen prey into isolated corners of the wilderness where he ambushes and eats them. Wood elves know his as the Emerald Assassin. Perhaps the coolest feature of this huge beast is that he has Invisibility Spell. This is how Chuth is introduced to the players in Ghosts of Dragonspear Castle. Something heavy hits the ground behind you. You turn to see an enormous dragon made of pouring rain. The characters make a DC 15 wisdom check. Those that fail are surprised by the rain dragon, which is actually of course Chuth. The rain washing over Chuth's outline makes the dragon visible in a way few people ever get to see. The green dragon does not speak to creatures that it hunts, believing it heightens the fear. The dragon attacks any elf it sees, staying only as long as it takes to kill his prize, snatch the corpse and fly away. If there are no elves in the party, the dragon breathes once, then departs, having satisfied itself that there's nothing worth eating or stealing. Chuth's invisibility spell ends as soon as the dragon attacks. If you'd like to borrow this approach for your game in The Rise of Tiamat, it can still be pretty effective appearance. After he either breathes or takes a prisoner, he can retreat back to his lair and wait for the weakened adventurers to ambush them inside. Chuth is a 3rd level spellcaster that uses intelligence as his spellcasting ability. Spell save DC 13. He has Mage Hand and Read Magic cantrips, Detect Magic, Featherfall, and Shield 1st level spells, and an Invisibility 2nd level spell. Featherfall might seem like a weird choice at first, but if Neronvain rides Chuth during battle and gets kicked off the dragon's back, it might save him, because fortunately it's a reaction spell. Shield is also a neat reaction spell, and if you want a full set of reaction spells, you can swap Detect Magic for Absorb Elements. You might find it interesting that Chuth has some history with Neronvain's half-brother, Prince Olagarthus. Just several years ago in 1480 DR, Olagarthus left his father's woodland court in the Misty Forest to make a name for himself. Chuth tried to hunt him down and kill as he usually does, but apparently he was defeated and driven away. This can add some interesting dynamic when first introducing the dragon to the players. Prince Olagarthus might share this story himself and perhaps even desire to go with them on this quest. In fact, the Ghosts of Dragonspear Castle adventure states that if Chuth escapes the fight with the players, Olagarthus makes it his life quest to slay the fearsome Emerald Assassin. It may also lead to a dramatic moment when the prince will eventually realize that the Green Wyrmspeaker terrorizing the Misty Forest was his half-brother all along. Honestly, I think it's not a bad idea and might actually add some chemistry and liven up the story a bit, if your players are okay with NPC companions. If you're up to it, here's some information about this guy. If you're not, then well, it still might be interesting. Olagarthus is a royal-blooded elf, a descendant of the ancient kings of Miaritar, an ancient elven empire. He believes he would be the heir apparent to the kingdom of Miaritar if his ancestors hadn't let everything collapse into ruin. It bothers him that great leaders such as his father, King Melandrog, are satisfied with forest kingdoms, when in the days of ancient Illifarn, elven nations stretched from the sea to the distant horizons of the north, south, and east. Oligarthus wants to resurrect ancient Illifarn and rule it as a king, and towards that end he's emerged from his father's shadow to form alliances with wood elves scattered up and down the Sword Coast. That should give you an idea about the personality of Oligarthus, something to start from. This is what Ghosts of Dragonspear Castle tells us about the dragon's combat tactics. Don't forget that Chuth knows a handful of spells. The dragon always casts invisibility on himself before moving in for the kill. If the Elven Prince is with the party, the dragon lands as close to Oligarthus and the characters as he can, hoping to catch them all in his breath weapon during the surprise round. The Emerald Assassin did not earn his name or reputation by being reckless. Chuth flees if reduced to half his hit points or fewer. The dragon likes to use poor weather to his advantage. Wind and heavy rain are going to give his enemies disadvantage when making ranged weapon attacks. If attacked by too many enemies, Chuth takes to the air. Besides all that, you should definitely read the Green Dragon section from the Monster Manual, especially getting familiar with the dragon's stat block. You don't want to forget that he can just succeed on a saving throw with his legendary resistance rather than becoming a victim of a sleep spell or something, or that he is immune to poison, which is really nice of him because the rogue already has a ton of dice to roll. Frightful Presence is also a thing, but remember it can be neutralized by the druidic garlands that the party has a chance to acquire earlier in the chapter. Which, by the way, if they don't, then you should definitely use the invisibility in the rain appearance. If you had doubts before, this is where you totally have to use it. It's just way too cool. Cooler than the lame clinging in the wall in a dark cave. Nah, just look at the picture. He's outside. He looks badass. Okay, I'll move on. You should also get familiar with lair actions and regional effects. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of because Chuth is probably not going to be the only enemy in the fight. Maybe pick your favorite things, make some notes so you don't have to stall this epic confrontation. It's a lot of text, it's all there, just read it. I almost forgot, the Dragon Horde in this chapter is just terribly unimpressive. It's a tiny bunch of gold, and you can also add some potions and scrolls. Yeah, you can add some potions and scrolls, along with some badass magical armor. You don't have to go crazy about it, but really, I would definitely give a couple of not too weak, not too powerful magic items, plus one ammo at least, some dragon scale armor at best. I also like to add a bunch of non-combat fun magic items. Xenothar's Guide to Everything has a bunch of those, like a cloak of billowing that just waves dramatically whenever you want. That's it for today, but fear not, we will still talk about the rest of this episode, the Misty Forest, its encounters, and of course Neronvain himself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.